And speaking of dicks, we also had revelations, thanks to Michael Wolff finally revealing after years of sitting on tapes of himself interviewing Jeffrey Epstein, where Epstein was making numerous comments about his overly familiar over familiarity with Trump and how they were the closest of friends. And well, this particular clip is quite the whopper. It is absolutely absurd.
So how do you know this?
That was close to straight.
So I need the dump. Just give me Donald.
First, it's fun. As you probably know, he had a scalp reduction because he had the same male pattern movement that we all have. He had his scalp. Donald's office, as you know, he made that. He used to be on the phone as that fake PR person. Mm. I also found it funny. I was sitting there listening to the guys from the Post talk, and Donald would say, yeah, he's a great guy. I loved working with him. And I sit there going, this is just amazing. And he'd say, Michael, come on, let's go to the office. And he'd say, tell me, what's it like there? He'd say, you like having sex with your wife? How often do they? He'd say, it's great. Seriously, Michael, how often do you have sex? I mean, don't you want to? You and I can go upstairs, or tomorrow come over. There's this girl's coming in from Los Angeles, part of the Hawaiian Tropic kind of Hawaiian. So come over at 3 o'clock. You're going to have a great time. I promise you, Michael, it's just me and you. You're going to have a great time. Be up here at 3 o'clock. We can go upstairs. The whole time, the attorney's been on the phone listening. He set it up because he wants a story. So he has you on, because as the boy conversation, he had a really well speech. How would you like to really come on, you must. You must have had a better wife, right? I said, yes. Tell me about it. And the wife's on the speakerphone listening to Donald and said, I think you're really hot. And I know you think you're a guy. Michael is like the end of the world, the best guy on earth, you will be married to him. You're wrong. Just listen to the next 20 minutes. And go with the new office, set you up.
So, two things there. First of all,
best friends.
Well,
hardly know the guy.
3 things there. So first of all, we'll get the funniest one out of the way. That Jeffrey Epstein is clearly aware of Trump's scalp reduction because he was going bald. It's just fucking amazing. That's like A+ comedy. Like, you can't make that shit up. So 2, obviously, as you pointed out there, Carol, it's extraordinarily weird that Republicans have this seeming years-long obsession with Jeffrey Epstein, specifically connecting him to other politicians. Yet their MAGA superstar, Donald Trump himself, was apparently Jeffrey Epstein's best friend. They were like buds. They were just 2 peas in a pod. You couldn't separate them. And then there are a number of other tapes here, just, showing how Epstein had like a very clear awareness of things that were going on behind the scenes at, the Trump organization, and specifically Trump's time in the White House, would suggest that them two were super close. Because I don't understand, like, he was aware of like the interactions between like the top of the Trump campaign and people in the Trump White House, and like their interactions and how all of that plays out and works, like the infighting behind the scenes, and how Trump would pit people against each other, like Jared and Bannon and that one hoe that we refuse to speak of, who showed her child's titties on the internet. That one, so he was overly familiar with that. But just and then it gets even grosser from there. As you heard, Epstein laying out like this plot by Trump to like fuck his friends' wives. He'd invite them up to the office with their wives on the phone in order to like present women who were parts of his maybe
his beauty pageants.
yeah, models and pageant contestants or whatnot with the wives on the phone.
Various honeypots for the purpose of,
Yes.
of cucking his friends' wives.
Yeah, it's
Cucking his friends. Sorry.
yeah, cucking his friends. It is
I'm not so familiar with the terminology.
it is the yeah, you're not familiar with the cuck lifestyle. You got to meet more Republicans. So yeah, just the the worst form of dirty macking I've ever seen in the history of dirty macs. Like calling your boy's girl up on the phone and then having to trying to toss girls to dude so you can go bang. I mean, it's just
Well, I know one quote unquote friend's wife he's never fucked, and that would be Heidi Cruz. So there you go.
Or he said no to, or she said no to him, and then he started calling her ugly.
Then he started calling her bad name. You know what?
man.
That makes
man,
a lot of sense because that was real random for him to just kind of go after her like that.
out of nowhere, just taking shots at Heidi Cruz. I don't think. I mean,
No,
as weird
he
as
was
this,
running against Trump at the time, right?
yeah. Well, I don't want to say anything about Trump's taste in women because I find the way that he discusses his own taste in women disgusting. But I don't think Heidi Cruz is his type either. But I mean, that's neither here nor there.
I don't think some like being his type has ever stopped him from, assaulting someone.
Or fair enough. All right, good.
I mean,
good.
I think he would have done it just on GP.
Bullshit.
So maybe Heidi did turn him down.
Maybe
he probably
that
in his mind was like, this bitch is ugly. I can bag her. And then she turned him down. He's like, the fuck? So,
maybe. I mean, and maybe that was his beef of more than Joe and Mika. I don't know. Maybe he was trying to fuck on Joe's wife, and Mika was like, nah. And then that's why he made fun of her having plastic surgery and when she showed up.
My favorite part of the Epstein revelations was him calling Trump stupid. I loved that.
And I liked hearing him refer to Trump as morally, like no moral compass, and the words like a horrible person.
A pedophile and sex trafficker says that you have no moral compass. You are bad.
The worst person on planet Earth is looking at you like, dog, what is wrong with you? That's not great.
He's like, at least I know what I'm doing is wrong. I don't care, but I know it's wrong.
And he was
you don't even know.
Well, and he was also talking about, so not just calling Trump stupid per se, but talking about his inability to comprehend anything outside of manipulating people or real estate. But he was like, the real estate thing is so ironic because he can't even look at like a balance sheet, which is just it's bananas. Like I just not being able to look at like simple dollar figures and make sense of them when you run a quote unquote real estate empire is just absolutely absurd. But yeah, this information breaking days before the election, it should have been like the October surprise to end all presidential campaigns. Yet another thing that just doesn't fucking matter. I don't understand how this works. If it was anyone else, it would be front page news on every major every major outlet and network. It'd be nonstop 24/7.
Bombshell, Epstein tapes drop, but
no one cares.
Crickets.
And this is a week after we got news that, Epstein brought a girl to Trump and Trump sexually assaulted her. No one cares. I don't know how to make the world care about this. It's weird that we live in a world supposedly obsessed with Jeffrey Epstein, but then everyone puts blinders on when it's specifically Trump and Epstein. I don't know how it's possible. I mean, again, I've noted this over and over. How is it possible we have a picture of Trump with Eric and Ivanka in their young age hanging out with him and Jeffrey Epstein, and no one cares? It seems implausible.
Didn't they say there were like some 76 pictures?
I
of
don't
him and
know.
Epstein?
There's so
A
many
lot. And
eh,
videos.
and
And
videos.
videos.
Yeah, it's an impossible number, and yet it just constantly gets glossed over. And now we have tapes of Epstein himself describing in
Yeah,
very accurate detail their
yeah.
relationship.
And Trump is campaigning on his plane. Like, this motherfucker has just,
Oh, and
I
he
don't even
first
know
slept
what to
with his
call it.
wife, who was not an escort
Yeah,
spy
that that
on
was
the
the other
Lolita
thing.
Express for
Yeah,
the
how is
first
it?
time. He
How is
was he
it
mentioned
possible?
that Trump banged his wife the first time on the Lolita Express.
That seems like an impossible story for the media to ignore, but like that Trump had never had sexual. I mean, obviously we don't know about the veracity of this story in particular, but the fact that Epstein is making the claim that he had never had sex with Melania before until he was on Jeffrey Epstein's flight, it seems like the bombshell of all. But like, we impeached Bill, not we, but like, Bill Clinton was impeached over a fucking blowjob, a consenting blowjob from an adult. And Trump is out here, banging whores, no offense to Melania or whores for that matter, on Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking plane. No one cares. How is that? I don't understand. I don't understand the media environment we live
Also,
in.
like, do we have the first trafficked first lady?
I don't think she was being
Is-
trafficked, honey. I think she was. Speaking of honey, I think she, like you said, she was a honeypot, right? She was a plant,
Mm.
and again, just a young model from a former Russia aligned country, and they snuck one past us, and of course, people like Trump fall for that kind of shit. Although I did meet this one Russian girl one time, I had it in the back of my head. I was like, huh, I wonder if the Russians sent this girl. Anyway, so I did not sleep with her on a
For
plane.
they sent her for
No,
you?
I was just, I was like,
Okay.
I was being silly. No, but I neither had sex with her on Jeffrey Epstein's plane, nor did I have sex with her at all. Just in case you were wondering, I don't know why anyone would care to
Well,
know
good.
that.
Then it's good to know you're not compromised.
Yeah, they're gonna have to pull a better one than that if they want to get me.